Hello and welcome to BISP Solutions. Today we will see some advanced features of FCCs like control to date storage. Then second one we would be seeing disabling view calculation, and third viewing the predicted consolidation time. So let's start with our first topic, that is control to date view storage. So what happen is, when we perform like normal consolidation, when we perform the normal consolidation and translation, what happen is the consolidation and translate rules automatically calculate and store all the value members for the QTD, YTD and HYTD members. But but what this control to date view storage does, when this option is enabled, it provides the option of whether or not to store to the to date view members values. It give us the option whether to store it or not. Now by enabling this option, if we enable this option, what benefits we will get? If we enable this option, the value result in the smaller application size. Okay, we will be getting the smaller application size. Then better performance will be there. Then faster consolidation times, faster restructure times, and it is easier also to maintain. Now it is also said that when this control to date view storage option is enabled, the application size is reduced approximately 40% or more. Then consolidation time decreased by approximately 40% or more, and then restructure times decreased by approximately 25% or more. So how do we enable this option? This option can be enabled at the time of creating the application. Let me show you. I've created the application and have enabled this option, control to date view storage. I can enable this at the time of creating the application, and also if at the time of creating the application have not enabled this option, we can enable it later also. But the condition for enabling the option later is that the account dimension should be set to dense, not the period and movement. If the account dimension is set to dense, then we can enable this option later also. Otherwise, we need to enable this option at the time of creating the application. Now what happens is, when we enable this option, 4 rules also get created under the business rules. So when we enable this option, we get consolidate by selected view, we get force consolidate by selected view, we get translate by selected view, we get force translate by selected view. Okay, now when we perform the consolidate or translate by selected view, we select the required view dimension members. Like for for view, we select the periodic only. Then what happens is, during the consolidation or translation process, the system runs the calculation for only those selected members that we have selected. So it in a way increases the performance, it reduces this time, and it also reduces the size of the application, because it is running only the option that we are selecting. So let's get started how to enable this option and what results we will get while performing this or enabling this option. So this is my FCCs application. So let me show you under my application the options that I've enabled. So under the enable features, control to date view storage is enabled. Okay, so let's close this. And now, as we said that after selecting this option, the performance will be increased, and then it will reduce the consolidation time also. So I've run the normal consolidation before. This is the normal consolidation that I've run, and I've taken the various entries and taken the more number of data so that I can have so that we can see the result of this enabling the option. So I've performed this normal consolidation and then I got the output for the same. And then when I perform this normal consolidation without enabling this this option, control to date view option, the consolidation time was, let's take the consolidation time also. So my consolidation time was 10 seconds. It ran my data in 10 seconds. Now, in order to decrease this time, we will enable this option. So my option is already enabled. So what we will do under this second sheet, we will again input these figures and then we will perform the consolidation with this option now. Okay, so let's quickly copy the figures. We will input the same figures and we will perform the same consolidation. So this is my control to date option input. This is my entity 1, this is my entity 1, entity 2 and entity 3. Let me first copy and submit, then I will let you know what POVs I have taken. And this is the data for the entity 3. Okay, so let's submit it. So I've taken scenarios actual. My entity East 101 is my holding. East 102, 103 is the subsidiary of holding East 101. Then product as no product. Then multi-gap as local gap. Then consolidation I've taken as entity input. My figures got submitted. Then data storage I've taken as data source I've taken as data input. Then intercompany as no intercompany. Then currency as entity currency. Then view as periodic. Then financial year as financially 15. Then period as January. Okay, and for all of the 3 entities I've taken the same POV except for the entity that have changed, that is East 101, 102 and 103. So I've input the figures and these are my movements. I've taken the movement according to the accounts I've selected. And I have purposely taken the accounts so that I can have few data, so that then only we will be able to understand the how performance change because of enabling this control to date view. Okay, so we have input the figures. Now, after inputting the figures, we will run consolidation. So we will go to our application, rules. Okay, I need to show that if when we have enabled this option, four rules have been created under the rules. So let's check for first that rules. So the options which we would have got by enabling this rule is consolidate by selected view. So we got this consolidate by selected view, this we have. Then we have force consolidated by selected view. Then we have force translate by selected view. Then we have translate by selected view. Okay, these 4 options are enabled. These 4 rules, we can say that 4 rules we got because we have enabled this option. So now we won't be doing the normal consolidation. We will be doing the consolidated by selected view. So we'll click on launch and provide for a POVs. So my entry is E_100, that is the console level. Then period is Jan, scenario is actual. Then my financial year is 15 and then enter view is my periodic. So I will simply click on launch. So my rule was run successfully. We'll click on OK. Now after consolidate by selected view, we will click on enter empty blocks. We'll click on launch. And scenario is actual. Then year is financially 15. Then period is January. All my POVs are set and I will click on launch. Now let's go to jobs and see whether the consolidation and clear empty box have been run successfully or not. So this is my jobs. It has been completed. Consolidation by selected view is also completed and clear empty box has also completed. Now we will go to schedule jobs. We will select structure cube. We will restructure this also. And then I will select run now. Then I will click on next. Then my cube is console. So this is correctly selected. So I won't be changing it. And then again I will click on next. So this is the review of this job. So job type is restructure cube. I'm restructuring it also because all these measures helps in reducing the time for consolidation and the performance of the application, and also the size of the application. I will show you that also. The size of the application is also reduced by this option. Then job name, then schedule time is we schedule it for now, and then these are not applicable. Then we will click on finish. So let restructure happen. Let's click on refresh. Okay, so that is also done. So now let's refresh the application. We will go to overview, actions, and let's refresh it. Refresh database. Click on create, save as job. Let's name it as job 1. Save. Job has been saved, and then we will click on refresh database. We'll click on refresh. So our database is refreshed. We'll click on finish, close, and now we will go to our output sheet to view the results. So this is control to date output sheet. Let's define its topmost POVs. So scenario will be actual only. Movement will be closing balance. Okay, then entity would be the parent entity, that is the console level entity is E100. Then product will be no product. Then multi-gap will be local gap. Then entity input will be entity total. Entity total. Then data input will be total data source. Okay, then no intercompany will be intercompany top. Then entity currency would be parent currency. Then the view will be periodic, financial year, Jan, and then let's click on refresh. So we got the consolidated figure. Now what we will do is we will check for these figures under YTD and QTD also. Like when we perform the normal consolidation, we got the result for QTD and YTD, we got the same results. We have input it under the periodic. This is all periodic. Okay, now when I saw the output for this normal consolidation, by normal consolidation I mean before enabling this option, control to date view. So when I got the output, I got the same output under periodic view, under the QTD view, and under the YTD view. So let's check for this option also whether I get the same view or not, because if we are enabling some features, it should enhance the performance, and it should give us the results, same results which it is giving before enabling such options, right? So let's check for this also. So let's copy these figures and okay, and let's change the view from periodic to QTD and YTD. Rest is same, and let's change the entity also. Let's change periodic to QTD and then YTD. Sorry, it will be on the console level only, so we need not change the entity. Let's delete this. Okay, now let's refresh and check whether we are getting the same result for QTD and YTD or not. We are not getting the results. This is what this option is about, that we have selected the periodic as a view, so we are getting the option, we're getting the result under the periodic view only, not under QTD and YTD. Like we got the result under the normal consolidation that we did. So we are not getting the results under QTD and YTD. Now, if we want that, we should get the results at the QTD and YTD also, because here we have just taken the extract of the information. But in the real world, we have the huge information and we want the results at QTD and YTD also. So for that, what we will do, we will simply copy these, both the columns, copy, and let's paste it over here. Now let's change this QTD and YTD view and write it QTD underscore rule and YTD underscore rule. Okay, and let's refresh it now and let's check for the result. I've done nothing except for changing the view. We can see that similar results we got on the QTD rule and the YTD rule, which we were not getting when we have changed the view to QTD and YTD. So this is how our option control to date view is working and enable us to increase the performance. Now let's check whether the performance has been increased or not. So let's go to the application. And let's go to jobs. This is my application. This is jobs. Now let's select consolidate by selected view. You can see that we need to check the time, whether the time has been reduced or not. You can see that this consolidation has been completed in 9 seconds. The difference is very less because the data is very less, but when you see at the in the real picture at large, then we can have, then the difference would be more, because here we have the very less data. I've just taken the extract of the balance sheet, but in the real life scenario we would be having the huge data and then its impact would be huge. Then let's close this. But we can see that because of this rule, our consolidation time has been reduced. Okay, so now let's come to rules and let's check for the size of the application. We can check it from here. We will go to rules Under through navigator, we will go to rules. Then this is my EPM cloud. This is my application, FCCs underscore con. Then this is console. Then I will go to actions and then database properties. Now I will drill it down. This is console. It is loading the database properties. So under statistics, we can have the view. Like number of existing blocks is 319 and block size B is 648. I do not have the screenshot of the blocks before enabling this feature, but it is obvious that the block size has been reduced. So you can also check it from the rules that the block size, this application size has also been reduced. Let's close this. This is how control to date option is used and help us in increasing the performance of the application, reducing the size of the application, in restructure time, and helping us to improve the consolidation time also. Now next topic of ours is disabling the view calculation. Now what do we mean by disabling the view calculation? By enabling this option. Okay, so what happens is when we perform the consolidation, right? So when we perform the consolidation, by enabling this option, disabling the view calculation, this option enables that the values stored under the YTD, HYTD and QTD data for the data input in the YTD, HYTD and QTD members do not store, right? And data input can be through various forms like data import, data management, through forms also. So data can be from the various sources, right? But if we want that it should not get stored under the YTD, HYTD and QTD, by enabling this option to yes, it won't be storing the data under the options. But if we want this option, that we want to see the figures or a result under the YTD, HYTD and QTD respectively, or whatever the requirement is. If you want to have the view the results under the YTD and QTD also, what we will do is we will update view calculations. And by updating view calculation, we can use this rule, update view calculation, and by using this rule, we can have the results under the YTD, HYTD and QTD also. Generally, we won't be having if we select this option. So let's go to the application and see from where this option can be enabled. So this is my application and this is application. We'll go to settings. So under settings, I have the option disable to date view. By default it is no, but that if we want to enable it, we can select it to yes. Disable to date view calculations. So and then we will save this. After selecting it to yes, we will save it. Okay, so let's close this. Now let's go to our sheet, Excel sheet. Now what we will do, we'll copy this input sheet, okay, and let's copy this sheet and let's make some changes to this sheet. Let's change the data. Let's make it 1000, 2000, 3000. Let's change only one account and let's submit it. Oh, we need to connect it with SmartView first. Default. Okay, so now let's change this figures, because firstly it was not connected to SmartView, so that is why it did not took our changes. So let's change this 1000, 2000, 3000. Okay, we have changed this data. Now let's submit it. Now it will allow us to submit. Okay, so we have submit this data. Okay, now what we will do, now let's copy these figures to this another column, and let's change its view. Again, we will be changing the view. So let's copy this figures and let's paste it over here. Now let's change from periodic. Let's take the East 101 as periodic only. Let's change the East 1022 from periodic to QTD, and East 103 also to YTD. Okay, now let's refresh it and check. So you can see that we did not got the result under QTD and YTD, right? We would have got the results under QTD and YTD also. Till now, we have not performed any consolidation for this particular case. We have just input the figures, and then we are just having it. We're just looking at the figures from this different perspective. Like, as I said, we just have the extract of the figures. In real practical world, we have huge figures. We have, this is for the month of January. We have for the 12 months, and then we see the data for the under the QTD and YTD, right? So we get the sum of data of the under the QTD and the YTD. So, but now, right now, we are not getting the same. So for that, what we will do, we will go to applications, and under rules, we will select update view calculation. So we'll select this, and let's run it for particular entity. Let's say suppose 101 we got the result. Let's select for 102. Scenario is actual, period is financial year is 15, then period is Jan. Now we're here, the view, we need to select QTD. If we select YTD, we will get the results under YTD. So for each entity, you need to run this rule, and for each like view, that view you want, for each view you will be running this rule, and then enter currency, that would be entity currency, and then we will launch this rule. We have still not performed any consolidations till now. It is just for submitting the data. I've just done that part. Let's go to job and check whether our rule has run or not. Update view calculation is completed. Okay, so now let's get back to our Excel sheet. Now we have run for East 102 under the QTD, right? So let's refresh it now. See, we got the figures under the QTD. When we run the rule update view calculations, we got the results under QTD. The reason behind this rule is that it is not accumulating the results. If you want the results for the QTD, you run the rule and we will give you the result, instead of storing the result and providing with the results. Again, it is impacting the performance, because the n number of data we will be storing, the data, huge number of data we will be storing, it affects the performance of the application also and the consolidation time also. It won't affect here. Let's check it for East 103 also. Let's go to rules. And now again we will run the rule, update view calculations. Now let's run it for entity East 103 and then enter view. Let's enter now YTD. Okay, rest all the POVs will remain same, and then we will launch it. Then we'll go to applications, job, sorry, and then applications job. Okay, this is again completed. Now we are back to our Excel sheet, and then we will simply click on refresh. Okay, so we got the data. You can see that this updated data 1000, 2000, 3000, we have modified this data. So we got the result, modified result under the disabling view calculations by running the rule updating the view calculations. Before that, we were not getting the results under the QTD and the YTD. Now at today's last topic, that is viewing predicted consolidation time. Now this rule enable us to predict the consolidation time, so that it help us to know that the consolidation time well in advance. It enable us the system to calculate the predicted time of the running consolidation job. Also, whenever the consolidation rule is run, the prediction routine is automatically run, and you can view the predicted time in the consolidation rule job log. So let's check this rule in the application. We will go to application. Then under rules, we will launch the predict consolidation time rule. Okay, let's run it for entity 101. Period is January. Scenario is actual. And then financial year is 15, and then simply click on launch. So predict consolidation time is also running in the application. That has been run successfully. Now we will go to jobs to check what prediction of time it is giving to us. So we'll go to application, and then we will go to jobs. This is predict consolidation time. We will select this prediction consolidation time, and then we will click on completed. So the time it is showing us that 1 minute 45 seconds is the predicted time. So this is how, when we have the huge transactions, we can predict the time and can manage the time accordingly through this option. This is how predicted consolidation time rules work. So this was for today. Thank you. For any queries, please reach out us at www.bispsolutions.com. Thank you.